Dempsey leaned over to his left and sent a trail of tobacco juice into the dirt. He scratched his armpit, grunting loudly as he stood up and hobbled over the hard, impacted ground towards the golden nugget to satisfy his curiosity. Within, the depressive mood hung thick like a cloud. At this time of day, customers were few. A couple of businessmen sporting derby hats and tweed suits ate their breakfast in the corner, whilst Wilmer Bryant, the pot boy, looking half asleep, swept the floor with a wide broom. Lester Toms, the barkeeper, polished a glass before filling it with whiskey and then slid it over to the stranger leaning against the counter. The other two strangers were standing some distance apart, one at each end of the long bar. The leader sampled the whiskey, smacked his lips in appreciation, and downed the whole drink. He indicated another needed pouring and flicked his fingers to the other men. Toms took the hint, poured out 3 more whiskeys, and went to either end with the drink. When he returned to the center, he stood back, never allowing his eyes to settle too long on any of them. By now, the tension had developed into a palpable thing, broken momentarily when Dempsey came wandering through the doors. No one spoke. Looking up from another round of polishing, Toms cracked his face in a forced attempt at a smile and, relieved, beckoned for the old-timer to move closer. As Dempsey went to take his first step, the stranger in the middle threw the second whiskey down and turned. He arched a single eyebrow towards Dempsey, who stopped, mouth dropping open. "You know where the sheriff is?" The man's voice was low, deep, bereft of emotion. Hunching his shoulders, Dempsey tried to look away, but the stranger's eyes seemed to lock him up tight with nowhere to go. He swallowed loudly. "Well, oh, I reckon he's in his office. Fetch him." And the stranger turned again to Toms and motioned with his glass for a refill. Dempsey tried another swallow, but his throat was now dry. He could do with a drink himself, and he gave a little jig, somewhat unconsciously licking his lips as he tasted the imaginary shot of good whiskey sliding down to simmer in his stomach. "You best do it now, boy," said the stranger closest to him, leaning against the counter, one foot propped up on the rail running along its lower edge. Dempsey jumped, snapped his head to the owner of the voice, tipped his hat, and rushed outside. The cold hit him like a punch, but he didn't care a fig for any of that. His rickety old legs propelled him down into the street as fast as he could manage. Something wasn't right with those boys, and he felt it in his water.